right into it. All right, let me zoom in real quick. Okay, so we got four Twitch tweets in a row. Some of them will be quick, like TwitchCon, for example. TwitchCon dates were shared, and we have EU is going to be in Rotterdam, and also some interesting additional updates at the bottom here. We'll talk about, and then TwitchCon US or NA, however you want to put it, will be in San Diego, in September. One interesting thing is it's going to be in San Diego until 2028. And for EU, it's going to be in the Netherlands for 2025 and 2026 as well. I'm not sure this has anything to do with cost cutting. I think this is one of those cases where you want to provide consistency. I think it's nice to have consistency where like your big streamers can plan ahead appropriately, and other streamers who I'll put them in the bucket of like they're smaller and they might want to be more scheduled and like figuring and like planned out and figure out, okay, like where's TwitchCon going to be next year? Like how much is it going to cost me? Now you can kind of get a heads up like, okay, I know it's going to cost me this much to go to TwitchCon San Diego, and I'll know that for the next 3 years. It kind of gives you a nice idea of that. I like the idea of consistency. There was an appeal though to being like kind of in different places to get different areas for the TwitchCons, but they always seem to be in the West Coast. Because that's where Twitch is. So overall, I mean, I think it's nice actually that they're staying in one spot for some time. I think it's nice. It means you know.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different one, but I thought there was like some issues or some people complaining about the one this past year with San Diego, or maybe it was a different one I'm thinking of. So
might have been a different one. I don't know. I mean, the TwitchCon 2 years ago had a lot of problems.
Oh, maybe that's the one I'm thinking of.
I think it was like 2 years ago it had a ton of problems. Excuse me. So yeah, I don't know. TwitchCon, like I think this past TwitchCon I was shocked because there wasn't any drama. I was like, where's the drama? Where'd it go?
Yeah, this past TwitchCon was actually a pretty good one, I think.
It was surprisingly drama free.
You know, we didn't have the death trap foam pit like the year before.
Or just the like condensed crowd of like people in a hallway and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Anyway, let me just go through more of these. Not like quick firing, but just mentioning them, and then we can sort of talk in bulk about these. Twitch has ended support for their localized Twitter accounts. All the accounts kind of gave their own version of the we're closing down the socials. Here's some helpful links for you. So again, my gut tells me that localized social teams got laid off as well, and this was like their, sayonara post for that. So
the case.
So we could definitely give some indication of, okay, social media teams got hit from the layoffs. And then we also have this, which was interesting. Twitch ended its partnerships with Vice, Rolling Stone, and Complex. So here's some insights into that. So quietly ended a series of multi-year partnerships in 2023 that it brokered with publishers including Rolling Stone, Complex, and Vice. So they say including, so there's likely more than that. Twitch invited the publishers to establish channels in 2020 to 2022 to try and mix up their content and revenue streams, and sort of like there was that surge in the pandemic, so they're trying to take advantage of it. Apparently there were some challenges, and when the contracts were coming up to be ending, Twitch just decided not to renew. But you'll notice here the publishers have since laid off or reassigned the hired staff, leaving their Twitch channels to go dark. So it's also possible that whoever was in Twitch holding those accounts, usually there would be like some kind of account manager or executive. It's entirely possible that they got laid off as a part of this because they had just said, we're not going to renew the contracts. And possibly some more team members involved, maybe with like marketing on that side, also got laid off. But this is another cost-cutting measures. Like, we don't want to renew contracts because we're spending money on these, and we're not seeing the return we would have hoped for, especially after the big surge when the pandemic hit. There's something else I want to also add on here, which is this excerpt about the advertising challenges. While plausible on paper, these sponsorship efforts ran counter to the prevailing economic dynamics of the platform. Many Twitch streamers make the bulk of their revenue from their fans through products like subscriptions and donations, but Twitch discouraged the publishers from tapping those lines of businesses, or of business. So the ones we just talked about are basically, they're telling them, no, don't do the thing that many of our individual content creators use. Let's try and leverage different opportunities. Amazon wanted it to be like YouTube, where there are opportunities to work with major advertisers to create content. But the bread and butter of how Twitch creators make money is through the audience. I don't know if I 100%. I mean, like, I'm sure this person has the knowledge and is quite familiar with the situation. I do think there are a lot of streamers that make the bulk of their money on sponsorships. I know it's a part of, like, you're tapping into your audience, but I mean, if I had to make a guess, I would say big streamers make more on sponsorships than they do on their subscribers numbers through Twitch. I'm specifically through Twitch. Like, if I'm a big streamer and I have like thousands of concurrent viewers, I can almost guarantee I can go over to game maker A, like Ubisoft, and go, if you pay me $50,000, I'll show your game off for a couple hours, maybe a few times a week for the week it comes out. And I almost guarantee you Ubisoft will bite, and that 50,000 is more than likely as much, if not more, than my subscriber base. So I don't know if I 100% agree from that perspective. I think my problem with how Twitch runs is, we've talked about it before, and you can obviously touch on this. The way ads are run on Twitch is counter to the user viewing experience.
Yep.
So, and I had that just yesterday. We had like a really funny moment happen on stream, and an ad played.
Yep.
And somebody even in chat was like, "Oh no, an ad played." And I was like, "Oh shit." So I have to go back and like clip it and go like, "I'm so sorry. I'm going to try and clip the moment for you. Make sure you can see it. My bad. I'm trying my best." But, you know, it's give and take. Like, sometimes you get a pre-roll, but if I run ads, you don't get it. So I don't know.
I mean, yeah, we had a long discussion about this last week.
Right.
The problem with ads on Twitch is that you miss. Yeah, TLDR. The problem with ads on Twitch is you miss content and sometimes big important moments in the content when the streamer runs ads, or if Twitch, they just have the auto ad thing on, and Twitch just runs ads when it decides to run ads.
Which it can.
Whereas
it can do
on
that.
YouTube, you know, it's video on demand, so you don't miss anything with the ads, and usually you can skip them within like 5 to 10 seconds, or maybe you have to watch like one 15-second ad, and then you can skip the next one after 5 seconds or something like that. So it's like 20 seconds.
Right.
Or if you're watching television, old, you know, regular old like cable or whatever, and they run ads, again, the show is paused while they run ads, and then it comes back and it picks up right where you left off. On Twitch, it's live streaming, you miss part of the content, and sometimes the most exciting or interesting part of the content when ads run. It's a very, very bad user experience with ads on Twitch.
And Twitch doesn't have a solve for it. It's live content. There's no solve for that. If you want to run ads, there really isn't a good solve. And certainly Twitch hasn't found it, because everybody complains about it. It's the one thing that I think everybody can agree on. The way that, even just the streamer side, just looking at the streamer side, the way the streamer is able to handle ads on Twitch is the worst experience possible. Yep. So yeah, that's obviously very frustrating. One more thing I wanted to throw in here, and then we can sort of like bulk this all together. The first post, by the way, we did have in the server, but the first post was like, let me just clear up what the first post was. The first post was, no more abusing drop campaigns. Here's a link. Yep. And I was like, what is that?
And the link didn't explain. It didn't explain anything.
Link didn't explain it, which I feel like is just par for the course what Twitch does. This is exactly why I have a huge problem with Twitch. Twitch just does not explain things very well and has to constantly reiterate what they meant. And you're just like, Twitch, if you had just sat down, and wrote exactly what you meant and the exact examples that you're thinking of for this, that would have saved us the social media person who I'm like trying to figure out if the social media person, like, if it's them or if it's somebody else telling them what to post.
With policy stuff, I would assume it's, you know, someone
somebody else
telling them what to post.
Somebody's telling them what to post, and I don't think it's the person posting. They're probably doing other stuff. Drops or rewards are meant to be earned during live gameplay with your community, not through streaming related, unrelated content like static images, rebroadcasts of VOD footage, or other scenarios where you are not interacting with your community. The exact example that I think people are abusing is they will go on like almost like an AFK screen, and there'll just be a 24/7 AFK screen, but for the game. So if I'm playing, I don't know, Destiny 2, I just put on a AFK screen and say like 24/7 drops. This is a drop channel. And people will just sit there in the chat and just AFK watch because they're just always going to get drops. So that is the exact scenario, in fact, that Twitch is also countering, which I don't know if they necessarily like keyed in on it from here, but basically they're trying to prevent people from abusing drops that are not live gameplay, which I think is good.
Yeah, they want people to actually watch Twitch streams, not watch an AFK screen and farm drops
and abuse it. And the game makers who are providing these drops are like, probably they're like, okay, like this doesn't advertise our game.
Yeah, we want people to actually watch the game being played.
Exactly. So I'm just like, great, this is great. Like, I wish you had done that in the first post, but this is great. Thank you for doing that. Okay, let's just step back. So just to recap, I'm fairly certain we know who some of the teams that got laid off on the Twitch side, localization teams, some account management, marketing teams involved with certain contracts that they let go or they let end. And then we also have some stuff related to some insights regarding how drops are being abused currently on Twitch and their countermeasures for it, even if it took them like multiple posts to tell us what the problems were. So yeah, I mean, I feel like all this, except, I mean, obviously this one, but like all this is just like, we're seeing what's unraveling in Twitch. There are supposed to be some other things that they're going to try and... They had like a post a while ago too talking about trying to leverage bits a bit more. So it's pretty clear where they're not seeing the money coming in, and that's through these contracts with big outlets like Rolling Stone and such. Like, having that contract is not a return on their investment for them.
Yeah.
Localized teams don't... They have to cut the cost for staff for some of these, I guess, non-essential personnel. I don't know how to put it other than that. And then it seems like there was probably some pushback from certain game makers who are trying to use drops and saying, you gotta stop letting people do these AFK screens. It doesn't promote our game. Yep. It's pretty telling. Like, it's pretty telling where Twitch is desperate. I think, and it's also Amazon. I think Amazon's kind of desperate, I think, at this point, to figure out ads aren't working. How do we fix ads? How do we cut all of our costs to a point where we can like be okay? How can we leverage any other monetization source besides ads to be successful? Because bits obviously isn't working. Otherwise, they wouldn't be trying to, put in their posts, we're going to try and refactor bits in a way that we think will work out more and provide more interest and make us more money. Twitch is kind of all over the place. There's probably some finance team at Twitch like pulling their hair out, just like crying into like sheets of paper. So I just, it does tell like where Twitch's desperation is right now, and Amazon, frankly. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we talked about it a lot last week with the layoffs and such. So yeah, you see they're trying to cut costs, they're trying to leverage other things and find ways to actually be profitable. So
Yeah, which
we'll see.
yeah, it's tough when your main source of revenue is ads and your ad system is very broken.
Yeah, it's really bad.
All right. Diablo 4 unearth a looming threat in Season of the Construct. Okay. So, hold on. This isn't like just undead zombie vampires, okay? We've got
Yeah,
something different.
we had 2 seasons of zombies, and
We had
now
we have 2 seasons
yeah.
of undead, and now we have constructs, which I like. I like the idea of using constructs, so I'm down. I'm just gonna put one paragraph, and then I'll let you kind of handle more of the conversation on this one. Season of the Construct begins January 23rd at 10 a.m. PST. Prepare to uncover the powerful secrets of Zoltan Kuhl's Loom with a new dungeon type called Vaults. A seasonal robotic. Oh my. Seneschal companion and weekly leaderboards in the Gauntlet. Several key quality life features, including almost constant Helltide events, arrive to help aid your conquests while fighting in the vaults. Spoon, help me understand what's going on with this season, because I'll be frank with you, I haven't really had much interest in Diablo, and I haven't really wanted to take the time to follow along with recent events. I'm just checking if you have, and really hoping you have.
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty free lately, so I did watch the dev stream the other day. It was in the morning on Thursday before
Okay.
the Xbox thing. Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, I'm not sure I'll actually play this season either, because JRPG Madness starts in like 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna have time. I'm just
Yep.
not gonna have time to play Diablo. But regardless, we'll go over it real quick here. So yeah, as it said, there's gonna be a new seasonal quest, which so far the seasonal quests have been unimpressive. We'll see if this one's any better. I doubt it. They're bringing back Zoltan Kuhl, who was a villain from Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Act 2 in Diablo 3,
Yep.
in the desert level, the desert area. New monster family with like these constructs, so we're gonna see some new monsters, which is nice.
Yep.
Adding new monsters to the game is nice. And yeah, the main mechanic of the season are these vaults, which are, I mean, they're similar to dungeons, but there's like more traps. They said it's going to be more about like movement and like avoiding traps.
Got it.
And basically, you can apply this buff. You can spend this resource, which you can farm in the overworld, to apply this buff to yourself. The more of the resource you spend, you can get more stacks of it.
Okay.
And the basically goal is to get to the end of the dungeon with the buff intact, and if you get hit by a trap, you like lose a stack or something like that.
Okay. Got it.
And if you get to the end of the vault with the buff intact, you get like a better reward. Like you get another like chest, or so, I forget what they call it. It has a name, but you get like, there's a normal like reward chest just for like completing the dungeon, but if you get to the end of the dungeon with the buff intact, then you get a better, another chest that is even better loot.
Okay. Okay.
And the main like hour of this season is the Seneschal companion. So in season 2 it was the vampire powers, in season 1 it was the malignant hearts.
Yep.
The Seneschal companion is what it sounds like. It's going to be like a mechanical spider companion that fights alongside you, and basically there are going to be these stones that you place into it. There's governing stones and tuning stones. So the governing stones are basically abilities that the companion can have, whether shoots lightning or shoots a ray of fire, or it can like heal you or shield you. There's like 12 of them or something like that. different things that it can do.
Okay.
And you can equip 2 governing stones to your companion, and then there's the tuning stones, and you can and those are like support stones that alter the ability
Yep.
of the companion, and you can apply 3 tuning stones to each governing stone, so a total of 8, 2 governing and 6 tuning stones into your companion.
Yep.
And they also said they wanted to make sure that the companion is always useful, basically, so they didn't go into details, but is going to scale the damage and such of it is going to scale based on your level and your stats and
I would hope
stuff
so.
stuff like that. And also it is, I don't know if it's invulnerable, but it said that it can't die, so I assume that it's pretty much invulnerable.
It might be one of those cases. Could it go like it's got a health bar here? Could it just go down and be stunned for like a few seconds?
I'm not
Know.
sure. They didn't go into
Yeah,
that.
okay.
So yeah, you can see in that screenshot there, that's kind of the
UI for it.
The UI for it. The big ones are the governing stones, and then they're the stones, like you can upgrade them. I think if you like collect more of the same stone, you can like combine them and upgrade them. I think they go up to like level 10 or something like that. I'm not 100% sure on that, but there's some grinding to be had with like upgrading your stones.
Got it.
And yeah, that's kind of the main the thrust of the seasonal mechanics. Again, there's going to be like an overworld activity to do where you can farm the resource you need to get that buff, and then there's the vaults where you can go in and they're dungeons. And they also said that the vaults, once you get into world tier 3 and 4, the vaults you can like there will be nightmare sigils for the vaults, so you can do nightmare vaults basically, which obviously give better rewards, and also you can upgrade your paragon glyphs in the nightmare vaults, so they serve the same purpose as a nightmare dungeon, basically. So you can basically interact with the seasonal mechanic all the time if you want, and completely ignore like regular nightmare dungeons and just do the seasonal dungeons to do for your nightmare farming, which is nice. So I would say they're making some good like quality of life improvements to the seasonal mechanics. So with season 1, they basically like the seasonal questline was crap, and then there was just the malignant tunnels to do, which were like in inconvenient locations. They were like annoying to get to, and etc. And then you had the hearts, which cluttered your inventory, and it just wasn't good, right? In season 2, there were no dungeon. There was the seasonal questline, but there were no dungeons. There were just the overworld areas, and it was always in like only one zone. So in season 3, they have both an overworld activity and a dungeon activity, and I believe it's active. Like there will be a set of them in every zone at all times, basically. So, they're adding some stuff, and then quality of life stuff. They're adding WASD movement, which
people have been asking for that.
People were asking for it, so they did another stash tab. That's nice. Hell tides are going to be active all the time now, except for a 5-minute down period for it to reset every hour, which is fine. That's reasonable. And a like respec mode to make respecking a little bit easier.
Respec mode, refund nodes, or pass. Oh, interesting. Okay. That's good.
Yeah. And then they also released like the actual patch notes for the.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's a just I know there's a bunch. There's going to be a ton of stuff, but I'm just curious about some other quality of life stuff.
You can scroll down. There's a quality of life thing at the bottom, I think.
Gameplay, bug fixes.
Yeah, it's in the gameplay section, I think.
Yeah, hell tides, items, scrolls escape.
Yeah,
no, okay.
They're improving some of the drop rates on some of the boss items for the boss ladder, so that's nice.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Increased cap for item power and drops from world boss has been adjusted. Previous is 100. Okay, so now it's okay. Plus 100 a minute. Okay. World boss standard reward powerful loot for your level with this change at high level. Players will see maximum item power gear for world bosses at higher levels.
Yeah, they want to prevent like lower level people from like basically leeching world bosses and getting like super powerful loot for not really contributing very much.
Exactly. That is exactly what
World
that
tier
is.
4, you have like a level like 65 come in, they're pretty useless against the level like 90 world boss or whatever it is.
They don't do anything. They're not doing anything. Okay, so they updated some power ranges as well for some of the the bosses.
the item power ranges are basically better for nightmare dungeons and stuff.
I'm seeing that. Okay. Push cut will no longer be reset after dying and being revived by another player. Okay. Yep. Okay. User interface experience. Event timers are now displayed on the world map. Okay. That's great. Additional. I just find it funny that we added one additional stash tab.
Yep.
And I'm like,
They did that with season 2 as well. They added one additional stash tab.
And to me, I'm just like, if you guys hadn't fucked up your systems and the way you coded this game, one additional stash tab would not be like a huzzah moment. It would be like, we added 10 more stash tabs. You're welcome. But instead, they're like, oh, look, we added one. And you're like, great. Good. I mean, good, but like, one? Anyway, I just it's wild how they handled stash. It's still wild to me. Cool. Well, I know you're not jumping into the new season. I mean,
probably. I mean, maybe I'll play it a little bit this week when it comes out, but
I don't know.
If I do, it won't be much. And then Grand Blue comes out like next. The official release date is until like Thursday of not this week, but the week after that.
But you pre-ordered it.
But I pre-ordered it on PlayStation, and you get it on Sunday, I think. So Sunday next Sunday, Grand Blue comes out.
You get to start early,
and then Persona comes out on Friday, the next Friday, I think. So
yeah,
it's GG's. Like
you're not playing other games. That's what I got. I don't know. I'll think about it. But the biggest problem is it's just like, it's not even just the time sink. What am I really playing at this point? I guess I don't necessarily feel like grinding to 100 is like my end goal all the time. I kind of just want to get the experience, see if there's anything fun. Like the season of the vampire one. I'm just going to call it Vampire season. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it.
Yeah, you said you had fun with it. You liked it.
I had some fun. I stopped, obviously, but I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy what I was getting. I will try this and see if I get the same enjoyment. I don't try to get to 100. I really don't.
It's just becomes a grind once you get into like World Tier 3 and 4. You just kind of grind the same thing over and over.
Exactly.
Again. I mean, they've made the grind a lot better than it was when the game came out. Like it's a lot faster than it was, but it still takes quite a while.
Yep.
It's not fast.
So I'm not like, okay, I need to be 100. I'm like, okay, I've experienced what I feel like is what I want. Like I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm ready to wait for the next season to see what's up.
Yeah, and I mean, they're obviously they did some balance changes as well.
Yep.
And adding new legendaries and uniques, trying to, bring new types of builds.
Absolutely.
Online. Barbarian, they buffed the hell out of charge. So, and they kind of made some adjustments to some items and some things to make the like all shouts meta. Try to get rid of the all shouts meta for Barbarian.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that's the case.
The shouts are good. Like
buff some of the key passes on Barbarian.
Yeah.
Druid didn't get much. They buffed Rabies and they added a cool new unique for Lightning Storm.
Okay.
I feel like they should have buffed the base skill as well. Though I think the base skill's a little bit weak, but we'll see. The new unique seemed cool.
Yeah, I'll consider giving it a look. Maybe not like day 1, second one, but like because the 23rd is obviously a Tuesday, and like that's during a work week for me, so that's usually just like I got other stuff I do. But I don't know. I might try it like next weekend. We'll see. We'll see how I feel about it. But I think I enjoyed the last season. I will say I enjoyed it. I'm sure if I join this season, I'll enjoy it. I just haven't had any interest recently.
Yeah, no, same. I mean, Diablo 4 it's a fun game. Like, I've had fun playing it. You know, it's a very grindy game, and I don't tend to stick with grindy games like for a extended period of time. But, you know, come back, play a few days, try it out, you know. We'll see what else I'm playing, but I'll say I will likely play it at least a little bit this week before Grand Blue comes out and like try it out a bit and see
how it is.
What it's like.
Yeah, of course. Anyway, I don't have anything else to add. I mean, I hope it goes well. Like some of the quality of life stuff seems good, so no, nothing for me on that.
Yeah, I mean they keep making the game better. They're you know, you can tell like when you watch the dev streams, it's still Activision Blizzard,
of course,
now owned by Microsoft, but you can tell that the dev team cares. They're trying to take the community feedback into account.
Yep.
They're trying to make the game better based on what the community is saying. They're trying to balance the classes as best they can and give love to skills and builds that aren't being used, and so I appreciate the work that the dev team seems to be like putting into this game.
Yeah.
Basically.
I agree. Okay. Anything else? Otherwise, like I said,
nope.
I don't know. Okay.